they all just play with their phones, but like when we talk about reading, it doesn't have to be, you know, a book like this. The thing is, what do you like reading? Like if you don't have your cell phone to play with, and you have an afternoon, you don't have any homework, you just have time to relax and read, you know, what would you choose? What kind of book would you read in Japanese, just for fun? Well, maybe that's something you need to start, because even if it's a comic book or a magazine, even if it's something like that, if it's something that you're willing to do for fun in Japanese, then you can also do it in English. And it's one easy way to keep practicing, because the big thing about language is if you don't use it, you know, you do forget. And the skills you learn maybe will stay with you, you know, but you still need to use it so that you can remember the words, you know, and the sounds and the details. You can always find that information again, but it's like learning it a second time, right? So if you can use it, you know, even 15 minutes a day it's better than nothing. You know, it's just like with exercise, right? You can work really, really hard one time a month and spend the whole day, you know, exercising. But if you don't exercise the rest of the month, you know, it will all disappear again. They figure what's 15 minutes or 20 minutes a day you need to exercise just to keep your body in the shape that it's in. So if you have the same guideline with what you've learned, and it doesn't have to be just English. I mean, do you play any instruments? The piano, flute, anything like that? If you don't practice, you lose your skills, right? So, same thing there. You know, 15 or 20 minutes a day is usually enough to keep what you have. So, if there's something that you can enjoy doing, that you like doing in Japanese, and then you can do the same thing in English, then it's one way to keep that up. So one of the problems that a lot of people have with reading is they always find something that's too difficult, like the newspaper, you know, or magazines. A lot of people think it's good to read English magazines. If you don't like doing it, then you're not going to do it. So it's not good for you, right? But also if it's too hard, then you're just going to give up. So that really is important. Or songs. Do you like to sing? Do you like to sing any English songs? Practicing those helps, right? Even listening to the words and concentrating on what they say. Now sometimes that's not easy if the singer is not a native English speaker, or if it's something like rap, you know, then the words probably don't make any sense anyway. But there are some styles of music where the song tells a story. And if the singer has a clear voice, then listening to those songs, you can focus on the words and, you know, even try writing them out for yourself. You can always check, you know, the internet has all of the lyrics, but if you try to do it yourself first and then check and see how many you have right, then you learn more. You know, it's good practice. If you just copy the lyrics from the internet first, then you don't really gain as much. So there are a lot of ways to practice language. Even TV. Are there any TV shows that you like? Which one? I don't know that one. Okay. Love stories, like soap opera, stuff like that. Okay. Well, in Taiwan, I don't know how easy it is for you to find DVDs, but like my wife often orders things for us, and so what we don't usually watch TV, like we don't have cable TV in our house, but we have a lot of DVDs, and there's a couple TV shows that I usually recommend for students to practice. If you watch a movie, then the problem is you have 2 hours, and you watch the whole movie, you have 2 hours to learn, who the people are, and what they're talking about, and how they're talking. And then, in order to actually appreciate the words, you kind of have to watch the whole movie again. But with a TV show, if you have the same basic people, the same group of characters, after the first couple episodes, you watch a couple shows, you know who they are, you know the basic information about them, what jobs they have, their place in society, you know how they talk, and then after that, you can focus on just what they say. So if you try to practice that way, then you can start with maybe the English speaking and Japanese subtitles, and then afterwards, when you get comfortable, you can have them talking in English with English subtitles, and then when you're ready for it, you just listen to them talking and you have no subtitles, and then it helps you to push a bit more to practice. But do you know this one, Friends? It's from 20 years ago. It's an old one, but the thing is, it's a clean TV show. They don't have a lot of the modern garbage that you find on TV, but this story is really interesting. You know this one? Okay, the name in English is just Friends. And like I said, you can see it's, from quite a while ago. But it ran for 10 years. So that's a lot of shows. If you can get, even one season on DVD and see if you like it, then you can always get more. But the thing is, there's these 6 people, and they're all normal people. There are some TV shows I know a lot of my students like Sex and the City. And the thing is, the girls in this story are not average English users. They're all fairly upper class. They all sound rich. They all live in New York. Well, so do they, but these people, they live in a part of New York where the English is not easy to understand. And the things they talk about are usually not normal everyday conversation. So, apart from it being kind of boring for people like me, I can't get into their story. It's not the best way to practice, because the language that they use isn't language that most people will use. But say for this one here, they're all, in their 20s, 30s during the story. They're all sort of average people. One of them is kind of poor, and she doesn't really have a regular job. One of them has a rich family, but they're all middle people, and they have different jobs. One is a teacher, one is a cook, one is an actor. They have jobs that put them into every normal situation, and they all live in a small area. They live in an apartment building. They're all neighbors, basically. and some of them are roommates, so 2 of the guys live together, a couple of the girls live together. So there's a lot of those situations, in their home, in the kitchen, in their room, in the hallway, in the coffee shop. There's every normal situation they eventually have a conversation about. So I really recommend a show like that because it's a very usable language that they have. Another one that a lot of people like, I know, is CSI. The crime scene it's a police show where they use a lot of scientific words, a lot of scientific terminology to talk about, a murder, and they talk about,